Oh.
Yeah, that was ugly.
So you were drunk in a chicken coop?
We cleaned it first.
Did you fly the coop after or what?
I wish I could have. My dad grabbed me. He was a
Whole
lot
new
bigger
meaning
than
to
me.
chasing chicks.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about your business.
My business. I elected to go over our team goals because I think we need to go over those. It's been 8 months or longer since we did that. And so maybe we can set some new ones if you feel that it's necessary. One-to-ones, our weekly goal is 20.
What we were assuming with that, so to go back just a little bit, so when we set our goals, we were setting them for a 90-day window. And then life kind of got crazy at that 90-day window for us, and then we went through some transition, and all of a sudden here, we're back on track and let's get going with this.
8 months later.
8 months later.
Hey.
And so the goal with 20 one-to-ones is because we'd actually set the goal that there would be 10 one-to-ones happening, but since one-to-ones take 2 people and everybody fills out their slips, it would count as 20. So the goal was that there would be 10. So if we have a chapter of almost 30, that means a third of us are meeting with each other once a week. So was that number still realistic?
Yeah.
What's our average? What have we been
We
averaging?
have now 27, yeah. We had 30.
Well, on the back,
people.
so I'm assuming it was back there.
Oh, there you go. Don't assume that.
Yeah,
What has been our
we're basically the same.
Those 3, honestly, the one-to-ones, the referrals, the visitors, and the continuing education credits, we pretty much balance around where we're supposed to be.
okay.
I mean, I would say that we're hitting those numbers, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't still evaluate them, because if we're hitting them
Then we're
and
not
it's been
stretching.
a stress for people to hit them, then we need to reevaluate that.
So is anybody stressed on one-to-ones?
It's a good number.
I think 20 is a good number. Does everybody
And
agree with
we've
that?
actually, we've kind of been slacking on that, not to complain, but
But come on, people, let's go.
yep, and now we're getting into the summer months, so it's gonna be even harder for people because they're gonna be in and out throughout the summer, so start getting them on the schedule, I guess is all we're saying.
But one-to-ones are a good way to get to know somebody because to get the profitability, you first have to do visibility, come to the meetings, and then you do the one-to-ones to build credibility so they get to know
He
you
really
better.
has been reading, huh?
Yeah,
know, it's awesome.
Hey,
you guys have no idea.
if you want to earn more, you have to do.
Learn more.
That's right.
Leaders are readers, right?
Okay.
Okay,
Alright,
so we're good at 20 one-to-ones.
Okay.
Everybody kind of
Yes.
agree with that? Okay.
Not in this one.
Referrals, 20 a week. Any thoughts on that?
How have we been doing on that goal?
We've been pretty close to it.
Yeah,
Well, so our goal was 20, right? So we were at 13, we were at 11, 36, 11, 19, 23, 16, 18.
So then 20
Average that out, that's about
So,
right.
I mean,
Twenty's a good number.
Charlie, I have a question about that. What is classified as a referral? I think we were talking about that in our group.
Well, and so as a clerk, this is when those little slips are filled out or you fill it out online. And we've had this discussion during our education moments and the membership committee report over the last couple of weeks is the reminder of what a lead is versus a referral. And especially as we're coming up on the renewal times, the difference between a lead and a referral is huge. If you're looking, and we're gonna go through the POMS reports today, you're looking at it and there's 20 referrals to you, but you only saw 4 slips. That's not realistic for you to be able to work those opportunities. And for those that have to answer to a boss to pay for their membership here, the boss is gonna look at that and say, you know, where's the shortfall?
So I mean, the referral is me handing Jill a slip and saying, call my wife because she has a 401 that she has pulled over and she needs to do something.
Right,
Or me handing a card to Jill and saying, hey, give Bill a call because I know he has a business and he doesn't do any financial planning.
It's like
That's-
that's
That's
for
just,
the connection.
well,
I
that's
worry
not a
about it.
lead because there's no true.
that's a lead versus the referral.
It's a cold call.
It's the cold call, right, I mean, it's one of those that I've got a name and a phone number of who to call, so, we've kind of danced around the 20. I think that that's still a good
a
number.
goal
to
is something that
average.
we need to work for. If it's easy, then
You got out there.
we're gonna get there. So
Right,
I think the 20 referrals is a minimum, I mean, I
I'd say quality.
think with 20-some, almost 30 of us in here, 20 referrals a week is a good goal.
And I'd rather see the number be smaller but have it be qualified
Absolutely.
referrals than have 26 in there and actually 4 people had something that they could work.
Right.
So I think, I mean, I can't speak for the next leadership team, but I think these are those types of things that we'll have to continue to do as a chapter and make sure our numbers are in track with what we're really doing.
I know in my industry, in some of the insurances, in some of the attorney fields, and some of the financial centers, we can give someone, we'd say, here's Brian's card, call Brian, we can have a discussion about alarms, but I'm not going to be able to,
Well, and that's the
especially if
difference.
it's 2 or 3 away, I'm not gonna be able to say, oh, let me get that person's phone number and you got, so, and if explaining to someone's product or service and encouraging them to reach out to them isn't a lead, then why is it on the slip?
Well, the key though is it's not just give a card, but it still is asking for a name and contact number. And you're right, because I'm in that same industry, right?
You can
I mean,
only go so
it
far
could
with
be,
that.
and what you put on the slips may be an initial, just so that when we do a reality check and somebody says, hey, Amy and Jeff, did BS get connected between the two of you? You guys are gonna know what it is. The key is whoever's actually receiving it. So how I've been doing it, because I'm in that protected
Right.
category, is sure, John Smith, I do have somebody that can help you with this. Do I have your permission to give them your name and number?
Yeah.
And as long as you've gotten their permission, then you can at least share the information.
Right,
But but you don't have to put it on the slip, I don't have to see the details of it to input it on mine, but the person receiving the referral should at least have the contact information so that they have an equal chance to work.
I understand that that's an ideal circumstance, although with this particular situation, I referred Brian to Lindsay and Lindsay was referred Brian to one of her clients. So I'm not going to be able to connect Brian and Alexis directly, but that still counts as, because we talked about watching the alarm and promoted his product. So again,
Tier 2.
if you don't want us
That would be a
to,
tier 2. Yeah.
exactly, so, but my point is that's still valid. I still think she will contact him, but I'm not gonna be able to get Brian directly in contact with Alexis. Does that make sense? So if you don't want that to happen, then I won't fill out a slip for that, because I'm confused, because,
No,
I
that's
think-
it.
That's the question of whether to fill out the.
Well, yeah.
Whether that's a slip or not a slip.
yeah, exactly, because if that's not a slip, then,
Where we've had success, there was somebody else that had come to me that, because it is really hard to put the referral in for a tier 2 until you actually know that something's come to tier 2. So, I can't remember who I was working with, it was last year, but I ended up getting the referral through somebody else, which would have been a tier 2, and I went back to them and then said, hey, so-and-so called me, they gave me your card, and said that you had told them to call me. So at that point, I did a thank you for closed business, and that's when they actually inputted the referral, is when we actually knew that the contact was happening.
Just wait until the contact.
I mean, that's just how we had done it. There is no black and white answer. We're just saying try to make it as, I mean, for all of us that are looking at our reports, because we're gonna go through it today, you know, there may be a handful of those, but it shouldn't, you know, I don't think all of us are in that same boat.
okay.
So, and if there's a question about it, ask and we'll figure out the right way. Because we want you to get the credit for, the whole concept of it is, A, we all wanna receive the business,
Wow.
and B, we want us to get the credit for giving the referral.
Right.
Right.
So we'll figure it out, there is no, unfortunately not all gonna be black and white.
Okay, any more questions on that? Okay, referrals, and 20, is that where we're gonna stay at?
Yeah.
Okay, visitors, 3,
It's a good number. Yeah, that's good.
I think that's okay. Education credits, 10,
Just keep it up. Yeah.
Just keep reading.
Well, the goal for that was
I need more
the
books, Mike.
success net, so if a third of us are reading the success net on a weekly basis, when they were sending them out weekly, then that should have been a very easy number. And then you get people like Patty and Rick who like to read and throw the occasional 5-pointer book in there for us.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So what I want to say about that is that 10's a great number, but I think it's a chapter. It's committing to the process of education, and I'm just going to throw it out there as a chapter. That's probably the one thing. That's probably the one thing that we haven't done as well as we could, because the most important part about BNI isn't the referrals. It isn't the structure. It's the fact that we have probably the best educational system anywhere in this realm or area, and it's $1 million, and that's really what you're paying for. You know, I was listening to that fast track that you were we're talking about, and I can honestly tell you there's a couple of things I've already picked out. I'm like, that by itself is going to really improve my business, but only because you're engaging in education. So I'm just going to encourage you guys to let's do more of it. So if it's 10, let's hit 10.
Right. Is 10 still a good number? You want to raise it to 20?
No.
We're stretching for 10, Rick. We're stretching for 10, brother.
Well, the education that I've learned, it's not only helped me here, but it's helped me immensely in my business and at home with my lovely bride.
Wow. So you listen.
Suck up. It's a nice recovery.
Do I what?
You listen.
He does, he puts it on.
I
Anyways,
have tape, yeah. Of course, I have an hour drive and an hour drive.
okay, so let's
Okay.
talk about the one that seems to be the
Okay,
most.
the one thank you for closed business is the one that
We gotta raise.
I feel is really low.
Yeah, 300 is
Since-
too low.
We've done 148 since this year. So that's roughly what, 18,000 a month? And that's about 4,500 a week. 4,000, because sometimes we have 5.
Yeah.
And we got it at 300.
Which way too low.
We had originally talked about it being per person, not
Oh,
as a
per person.
group.
Yeah, I think
That's what we had originally discussed, so the 300 was not supposed to be a group number.
So what would 300 be times 3? 9,000 a week. That may be a little high.
What did we set it like?
4,500.
We do 3,000.
Well,
We're averaging this year about 4. Let's say 4. I think.
2,900 a week.
Yeah, let's say 3,000 a week.
Based on those numbers.
Well, I was thinking more like
And again,
29,
we
40.
We did have it at 300 a week total, which was, again, only designed for a 90-day window. We were really focusing on our growth. And then what we said is at the end of that growth period, we would see of the new members, if we got to that 30, by looking at the new members that we have, were they a big ticket type of thing? You know, when Kendrick paints a house, that's a big ticket item. When Robin sells a house, that's a big ticket item. But if you get more of us that are on a monthly or a small percentage of, we have to balance that out. So unfortunately, I mean, at least what I'm showing here is we did have it at the 300, but we really never revamped it to be realistic based on the
Yeah.
membership that we have. And I think that we have more professions in here that might bring in a bigger number when it hits.
We're
And now
averaging
I say
$4,200
I
a
say
week.
3 grand a week.
Yeah.
So
So,
what?
We're averaging about 4,200 a week.
so let's set it at 3 grand.
3,000?
Well, why do we want
Why?
to set it at something we're already blowing away? I mean,
Why?
if it's a goal, you don't want to set your goals
Okay,
behind
let's
where
set it
you're at.
5.
5?
Yeah, 5. Let's do it.
5?
5.
We got a collision now in here. Boy, those 5 grand.
It's like that bumper was 3,000.
Thanks for encouraging us.
Does everybody agree with 5?
Yeah.
Any opposed?
Going twice.
Opposed.
Sold. 3,000.
Who could be opposed?